Good morning, children. Welcome back to the lesson We Are Not Afraid to Die If We Can All Be Together, written by Gordon Cook and Alan East. Today is the second session. We already discussed about the introduction, about that 37-year-old narrator, a businessman who wanted to duplicate the voyage performed by Captain James Cook, James Cook, that he performed 200 years earlier. Okay, and here the narrator starts his journey in the year 1976, right? And he has taken his family members along with him, his wife. Already we said Mary, son Jonathan, and daughter Susan, all set sail from Plymouth, England. Okay, and in order to tackle the roughest seas, the southern Indian Ocean, the narrator took the help of two crewmen. They are American Larry Vigil and Swiss Herb Siegler. Okay, and the first leg of the journey was very pleasant and peaceful. There was no hardships. There was no hardship and trouble, right? Now let us continue, and now we are at page number 14. Okay, children, take page number 14. Yeah. On our second day out of Cape Town, we began encounter strong gales for the next few weeks. They blew continuously. Gales did not worry me, but the size of the waves was alarming, up to 15 meters, as high as our mainmast. So children, the size of the wave that threatened, that terrified the narrator, that is what is the size? 14 meters, that you have to note down, and it almost reaching the main mast. We have already come across what a mast is with a diagram. Already with the picture we have explained what a mast is. December 25 found us 3,500 kilometers east of Cape Town despite atrocious weather. What do you mean by atrocious? Horrible. So write down and learn the word atrocious means horrible weather. We had a wonderful holiday complete with a Christmas tree. So after tackling with the roughest weather, they could do that Christmas tree. New Year's Day saw no improvement in the weather, but we reasoned that it had to change soon, and it did change for the worse. Actually, New Year Day was quite near, and when it came, there was no improvement. Actually, there was some change. The change was for the worse. The climate is not favorable. The weather is not favorable for them. Okay. So at the dawn of January 2, the waves were gigantic. What do you mean by gigantic? Very big. We were sailing with only a small storm jib. Okay, now hereafter you already vocabulary is given. Jib stands for a small sail. Okay, children, jib stands for a small sail. Okay, and we are still making 8 knots. Knots actually a measure. That meaning is already given. A measure to a measure of speed of a ship is called knot. As the ship rose to the top of each wave, we could see endless enormous seas rolling towards us. Enormous seas means large gigantic waves rolling towards them, and the streaming of the wind and spray was painful to the ear. Even when the waves struck the boat, the sound was horrible. It was a painful experience to the ears. To slow the boat down, we dropped the storm jib, small sail, and lashed a heavy, lashed means hit, with a great force. Write down, lashed means hit with a great force. A heavy mooring already I told you in the vocabulary session. All the ropes found in the ship. Mooring rope in a loose across the stern. back end of a ship. that also we have dictated back end of a ship. Then we double lashed the everything, went through our life raft drill. A small boat. Life raft means a small boat made of rubber and filled with air. It's called life raft, small life raft. When you go for boating as a part of enjoyment, entertainment, there will be some life raft, small life raft will be there in the boat. If any capsizing takes place or if any danger comes across, they will immediately make use of that life raft. Okay, so that also they made it ready, because anytime the ship can get capsized. Attached lifeline, donned oil skins, and oil skin also it is a cotton with oil to prevent oil skin, and life jackets, and waited. That means they were all ready, all family members were ready with the life raft and oil skins, everything, and even jackets, only to escape if any untoward thing happens or accident happens. Okay, the first indication of impending disaster, something that is going to happen immediately, is called impending disaster, came at about 6 p.m. They expected some disaster may take place. With an ominous silence, everywhere silence was there that time. The wind dropped. Earlier there was wind, now wind is dropped, and the sky immediately grew dark. Then came a growing roar, and an enormous cloud towered aft of the ship, the top of the ship. With horror, I realized that it was not a cloud but a wave like no other I had ever seen. The narrator could never see in his lifetime such a big wave, and he thought it was a cloud. It appeared perfectly vertical, not horizontal. Opposite of horizontal is vertical, and almost twice the height of other waves, with a frightful breaking crest. It is earlier they could see only 50 meters high waves. Now it is double the size of that. That means more than 30 meters high. The roar increased to a thunder as the stern moved up the face of the wave, and for a moment I thought we might ride over it. But then a tremendous explosion shook and the deck. A torrent of green and white water broke over the ship. A sudden push, a torrent of green white water broke over the ship. My head smashed into the wheel. Actually, there took place an accident, and when the wave hit the boat, what happened? The narrator hit his head on the wheel, and he was aware of flying overboard and sinking below the waves, and he was about to be in a sinking state. I accepted my approaching death. He thought his death is near, and as I was losing consciousness, I felt quite peaceful. Actually, he was feeling giddiness because of that head injury. He happened to hit his head only because when the gigantic waves hit the ship, right? Unexpectedly, my head popped out of the water. Luckily, he did not sink directly. His head came out, popped out of the water. A few meters away, wave walker was near capsizing. What is capsizing? Turning over. I told you, turning over of a ship is called capsizing. Her mast almost horizontal. Now you see, it's not vertical. It should be vertical mast, but now it has become horizontal. That is going to be sunk. Then a wave hurled her upright. My lifeline jerked taut. Okay. Then what a hurled means through. Hurled her upright means when another wave came and set her upright. My lifeline jerked taut. Stretched tight. Taut means stretched tight. You can write down. Taut means stretched tight. I grabbed the guard rails and sailed through the air into wave walker's main boom. Okay, boom means fall, main fall. Subsequently, waves tossed me around the deck like a rag doll, and the narrator is like a rag doll on the deck. Okay, my left rib cracked. See the danger. You can write down the notes. What happened on that particular day? For example, the narrator left ribs cracked, his mouth filled with blood, okay, and broken teeth broken. Somehow, narrator found the wheel lined up the stern, okay, and stern means back end of a ship. Already we learned back end of a ship, stern of the next wave, and hung on. And he was hanging from the back end of the ship now. You see the condition, children. So this is the danger he faced, right? And you can make a note of what accident that took place on that particular day and what damage that caused to the narrator. Water everywhere. I could feel that the ship had water below, but I dared not abandon the wheel to investigate. Actually, everywhere water is found. Suddenly, the front hatch was thrown open, and door of a ship is called hatch. The front door was thrown open, and Mary appeared. "We are sinking," she screamed. And the wife came to know that because from inside they could not see what was actually happening outside. But when she realized something wrong happened with the ship, she realized that they were going to sink. The decks were smashed. We are all full of water. Actually, water started entering the ship. So what will happen, once water engulfs in the boat or ship or boat will surely will be sunk, right? Take the wheel. There is a wheel to drive out the water that enters in the boat. I shouted as I scrambled for hatch. Moved quickly. Scrambled. Write down. All of you write down. Scrambled means moved quickly for the hatch. Hatch means door. Larry and Herb were pumping like madmen, and by then he could see the two crewmen, Larry and Herb. What were they doing? Pumping like madmen. Broken timbers hung at crazy angles. And many part of the boat, actually see how much trouble they had undergone in making the ship. 16 years time they made it very strong, even tested in the roughest weather condition. Now you see the condition. The ship started breaking, and the timber hung at crazy angles. The whole starboard side bulged inward, okay, bulging inward. Clothes, crockery, charts, tins and toys sloshed about in deep water. You can see whatever inside the ship is going out now, like clothes, crockery, charts, tins, toys for the children, all sloshed about, means floated with or over. Okay, look, you can write down floated over, sloshed. I half swam. Actually, he's partially hanging with the boat and is swimming. Half crawled into the children's cabin. "Are you all right?" I asked. Author asked, "Are you all right?" "Yes," they answered from an upper bunk. Bunk is a bed in a ship. It's called bunk. A bed in a ship is called bunk. "But my head hurts a bit." Little head injury happened with Susan. Okay, Sue. Pointing to a big bump over her eyes. Actually, there was a big bump over her eyes. I had no time to worry about bumped heads. Actually, author could never attend her now, but she did not insist that her father should see that. After finding a hammer, screw and a canvas, I struggled back on deck with the starboard side bashed open. Means bashed open, hit open. Bashed means hit. Okay, bashed means hit. Bashed open. We were taking water with each wave that broke over us. If I couldn't make some repair, we would surely sink. Actually, author was struggling himself to repair the ship with some hammer, canvas. Okay, otherwise water would have entered the ship, or water might have engulfed the entire boat and they would die. But he could save. Somehow I managed to stretch canvas and secure waterproof hatch covers across the gaping holes. Some water continued to stream below, but most of it was now being deflected over the side. Removed. Almost all the water is removed from the ship. More problems arose when our hand pumps started to block up with the debris. How do you pronounce it? Debris. S is silent here, children. debris, you can say, or debris, floating around the cabins, and the electric pump short circuited. Actually, the hand pumps are not working. Electric pump also got short circuited. The water level rose threateningly, alarmingly. Water entered. Back on duck. I found that our two spare hand pumps had been wrenched, means distorted here, means distorted or twisted overboard, along with the forestay, the jib, the dinghies. Okay, small boat is called dinghies, small boat, and the main anchor. So everything got damaged. Then I remembered we had another electric pump. Suddenly the narrator remembered another electric pump under the chart room floor. I connected it to an out pipe and was thankful to find that it worked. So another electric pipe was there, which was a spare one, which was kept under the floor of the chartboard, but he could see it was working. So thankful to God. The night dragged on with an endless, bitterly cold routine of pumping, steering, working the radio. We were getting no replies to our mayday calls, which was not surprising in this remote corner of the world. And it is expected that they could never make a connection using that mayday call. It's a radio sign. Okay, you can write down what is mayday calls. A radio sign. A radio signal used as a call for help from a ship or a plane. I repeat, a radio signal used as a call for help from a ship or plane. So mayday call, nothing is working. Sue's head had swollen alarmingly. By then that daughter's head was swollen alarmingly. She had two enormous black eyes. Okay, children, note down. She had two enormous black eyes, and now she showed us a deep cut on her arm. Another incident is one cut is also there on her arm. When I asked why she did not or had not made more of her injuries before this, she replied, "I did not want to worry you when you were trying to save us all." This dialogue is very important. What did the girl say? She did not want to worry him, means father, when the father was trying to save them all. So see the courage of that girl. So children, today we will stop here. I hope we could discuss much today. Today we started with that second day journey, and the size of that waves rose up to 50 meters high, and they were all ready. And even the Christmas day, they could make a Christmas tree, but the weather was very atrocious, horrible. Even New Day was the same. There was no change towards the worst. And on January 2nd, again waves were gigantic, and at the evening time, when there was an ominous silence, there was something bad going to happen, and suddenly a gigantic wave hit the ship and tossed the ship into the air for some time, and it was about to be capsized, and it actually given a head injury to the author, and his rib was broken, and his mouth full of blood, and somehow he was hanging on the deck, on the stern, the backward of the ship. Okay, then he tried to repair it using the canvas and alternative hatch, right? And meanwhile, the two crewmen, Larry and Herb, they were pumping out water like madmen, and somehow they got some relaxation. But again, the hand pump stopped working, and even the electric pump that got short circuited, and water rose to the ship alarmingly, threateningly, and they're impending death. But somehow the narrator remembered there was an extra electric pump, and for thank God that worked properly. And they tried to contact with people. They made mayday calls, the emergency call that using radio signals, and that did not work. And by then Sue, that girl, had shown her head to her parents. It was alarmingly swollen, right? And there was a deep cut on her left arm. But when narrator asked why she did not inform it, then she said she didn't want to worry her father when her father was trying to save them all. So, dear children, read well, write down the important word, because there are many such difficult words are there related to sea voyage and ship, and learn it correctly. Who knows, tomorrow you may become a Navy officer. Okay, so we will meet again tomorrow, and tomorrow most probably we will complete the lesson, right? Thank you children for listening. Bye.